This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 675 for September 28th, 2020. Gears of Wand.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I don't know what that is or the other thing that the title is.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Okay, and the Nymph.
Hi.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the behind-the-scenes early access audio. Help me pay for the show. Get us closer to $250 a month goal to scare the poops out of me with some horror games.
Yes, please.
You know the deal by this point. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, so go over there, help out the show, help you get literally hundreds of episodes in the backlog right now.
Yeah.
I don't delete any. I know some patrons do that, but not doing that. So go check that out. Patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, so I played a little bit of Apex. Just a little bit. Little bit of Apex.
Okay, I'll write it really small.
Okay, good. A little bit of Apex. That's all it was. It was a little bit of Apex. It's Apex. It was fun. I can already see that the season end fast approacheth, even though it's like 45 days away, and I'm like, I'll be fine. I'm not going to be fine. I know I'm not.
I had that
fine.
same thing with Fall Guys Season 1 this week, where like I feel like maybe like 2 days ago it was like, yeah, there's like 20 days left, and I go in there, it's like 7 days. It's like, oh no, I'm not ready.
That's what happened with me in Dead by Daylight. That's why I didn't end up picking up the second season of Dead by Daylight. The second season pass was because literally I loaded it up like after the end of the first one. I was like, I've still got to play time. It's like 2 days. I was like, nope, I'm out.
Welp.
Like,
Gotta go.
I literally cannot have more than one game as a service thing, especially not ones that have battle passes. Like, I'm done with that kind of. I'm stressed out enough as it is already. I don't need to compile further stress onto myself by giving myself targets to play.
Level, consume.
Exactly.
That's part of the problem is like you've paid for it, so you feel like I have to get this or else I didn't get my money's worth.
Yep. Yeah. Get that blood from that stone. Otherwise, that's $10.
In Apex Legends case, though, it's I paid for it once, and now I don't want to have to pay for it ever again. So therefore, I must hit level 100 every single time.
I still have 1,000 CP points in Call of Duty, even though I didn't get the season pass for this season. But it's there in case I want to get another season sometime.
Right.
Exactly. It's like get to the level cap and then figure out if that's when I'm going to bounce or when I'm going to stay.
Yep.
Like, that's the problem. But yes, Apex continues to be great, and I love the Apex community. I have not really interacted with them in any shape or form. I don't use Reddit. I don't do forums anymore. I don't do any of that. I'm barely on Discord, in case you hadn't noticed, community. I read most of it, but I just don't say a lot. I'm a lurker. I sit quietly.
You're a lurker at heart.
Yeah, I sit quietly on the ceiling, waiting for Gordon Freeman to walk underneath me, and then I snatch him up and nom on his bones. Like, that's what I do.
Yep.
That was brought to my mind by one of the games I'll be talking about later.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
No, go away with that again. But yes, I don't get involved with communities that much. Like, I just don't. The only time I get involved with communities is when it happens to be people I know who like stuff. Please see 25 minutes of Arrow discussion in the pre-show, 20 minutes of Formula 1 discussion on the pre-show, various other things that I talk to people about online.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
Yes, patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. That's not part of the actual thing. It's numerical one for the record, folks. Although saying patreon.com/E1 numerical M1 numerical is kind of awkward to say.
Right.
A little bit.
I love the wheels turning there when you just said E1 and your brain was just like...
Because I had to say numerical, but then I had to then follow it up with what was like. It was just literally ground to a halt. But yes, Apex Legends continues to be probably my favorite of the Battle Royale games, especially the fact that they keep it fresh all the time. Energy meta can go to hell is my current stance. I played an absolute crap ton of the Sexy Brutale, which, if you are anxious to hear me talk about that game, pretty sure it'll come out alongside or near this episode.
It should come out a little bit. It's before this episode in the feed if you're not watching it live.
Okay, so go check out the Game Club episode, which is the one before this in your feed.
Which 1/3 of TVGP played because of issues.
Yes. So
grumble, grumble, grumble.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played basically that game from start to finish this week because I am really good with time management.
As we said in another episode, you were out of town. Like there's some circumstances.
Yeah, but dude, I wasn't out of town for a month.
I mean, well, now people know you weren't.
Yeah, I remoted in. I just, this is just a blue screen behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we all remote on. Okay.
I mean, an extra remote in. Smarty pants.
I remoted to the remote.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Moon's gonna roll up his green screen. It'd just be the woods behind him.
Dude, come on.
But that's another green screen.
The desert.
Right. You roll up the forest one and the desert's back there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But yes,
when does the dream end?
Green screen within a green screen within a green screen.
Real good.
But yes, Sexy Brutale, Apex Legends. I'm still playing Spiritfarer because I have one achievement left. And that one achievement requires me to play through half of the GD game again.
Oh, that's right.
Is it about marital affairs?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That achievement. The other side of that choice achievement.
Time for a speed run.
Good news is, I barely played it this week, and I've already got Giovanni on the boat. Now I'm just literally streamlining my focus down to I only care about Astra's and Giovanni stuff. So it's like I'm doing that as quickly as I can so I can have that conversation, get the achievement, and uninstall it, which will mean 2 completed games within 2 weeks, which I'm happy with because the sooner I uninstalled the Sexy Brutale, the better. So yeah, I went and got all the collectibles in that thing as well, and oh boy.
Right. Yikes. There's only 52 of them.
Honestly, it wasn't that hard. I collected a whole bunch of them as I was going through it. The only ones I really missed was like the timed ones, like the ones in fireplaces that servants light the fireplaces, so you have to be at that fireplace by a certain time, otherwise you can't get the card.
I see. Right.
Which is relatively easy to fix in a game where you can just loop back to the certain day. And my final game this week was a little bit of DBF. That's right, folks. DBF is back. But it's not the DBF you think it is. This isn't Dead by Friday. No. This is Dwarves by Flarelight because we played Deep Rock Galactic on Friday instead. Don't giggle. I put a lot of effort into thinking of that time.
Yeah.
But no, we played.
Is that what Fridays have turned in for you? Is only playing games that have DB in them?
Yes.
So you can put an F at the end of it?
Or I can reference something to do with DBF in it. Dead by Friday, Dwarves by Flarelight, it works. I'm sure I can think of one to do with No Man's Sky, and we can just trash each other in that. But anyway.
We can get an Excel sheet going.
Yes, we could.
Don't tempt us.
I've already got like 9 of them going up at the same time. I don't
pivot table the hell out of that Excel sheet.
Oh, yeah.
We are such nerds. So terrible. But yeah, we played Deep Rock Galactic. We had another 4 stack. Jumping in, did a couple of random runs. Funnily enough, a member of the community, I'm not going to name any names, Rob, has already put so much time into Deep Rock Galactic. He has prestiged one of his characters already.
Oh my god.
And he's done that basically playing solo because I thought I was falling behind because I thought Well, I've barely played anything recently, and Rob's been playing it a lot, which means that T's been playing it a lot, and then probably Justin or Mike or Jason or whoever. I'm bad with names, okay? I'm sorry, Jason, Mike, Justin, Steve, Bob, everybody.
Archibald, whoever.
Yeah. They've all been playing it without me, and now I'm going to have like a level 2 little, like those free-to-play ads, I'm going to have a level 2 little dwarf with a little toothpick going ping, 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 ping on the rock. And they're going to come in with like this mech suit where they just destroy entire caverns.
Level 100 has angel wings on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, that's Rob. Nobody else has been playing it. He has just been exploring the dungeons by himself, like a true dwarf, if I will say so myself.
It's meditative.
Yes. And honestly, this is kind of a good game for that, because it's random dungeons. You get given an objective, you go do your objective, you take it back to the big drill you came in on, and you leave. Like, it's like 15 to 45 minutes per dungeon, depending on the difficulty and the complexity and stuff like that. And you just pop in, do your thing, pop out, you get rewards, you unlock cosmetics, you level up, you get more skills, you get character perks. So many bars to fill.
Oh, yeah.
So many, dude. Like, apparently when you prestige, you unlock second sets of weapons with more bars to fill.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
And also there is an actual bar that you can fill.
That's right.
That's just called bar.
I can't even
What's their
remember
bar
what it's called. I can't remember what that
There's
one's
just a
called.
bar in a window. It doesn't tell you what it is. You just know that it fills.
I know the bar in Sexy Brutale is called Pick Your Poison, which is a particularly good name for a bar.
It's especially with the types of drinks they serve, which is really good.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's Deep Rock Galactic. Like, go watch some Let's Plays of it. You'll see immediately what the gist of it is, and then you'll see, because the game scales difficulty by how many people are playing it, how insane it can get. And if you have it on the default difficulty setting, friendly fire is turned on.
Oh, no, no. Okay.
And Rob has a flamethrower. I have a minigun. And Justin with anything is a problem when friendly fire is on. I love you, Justin, but you really are. And Mike/Mark is an unknown quantity for me, so I don't know. We were busy trying to teach him how to do things, and then Big Daddy Cool comes crashing through the wall, and you're just like, okay, that's a giant bug thing. We better all focus on it. And I'm getting shot in the back. My dwarf is cursing at people for shooting him.
You're on fire.
I'm on fire. It's so much stuff going off at once, and the game ran pretty smooth. And they just put a new update out for their new season or whatever. Because yes, it's another one of those games. But I don't have to pay anything for cosmetics. They're all included in the game. Not once has it given me a season pass to buy, so that's fine.
Great.
So it's literally them just repeatedly dropping more and more content into the game. So I'm fine with that.
T-Bomb Rocks in chat says it's the Abyss Bar.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I think he's saying that's what the bar's name is.
I can't even remember. Like, I'm thinking, but like, because I'm bad with names, I'm good with signs. So usually if I see a sign, I can remember it. Like, I can picture the Sexy Brutale one. It says, pick your poison. It's got the green, like, leaf outline, and it's in neon green, and pick your poison is very cursive.
It's got a giant snake.
Yes. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, Deep Rock Galactic is a good game. And it's been a very good Zen gaming thing of, let's just fumble our way through these caves, get these weird flesh eggs out the walls, and then let's just get back to the mother drill so we can go back to the mother drill home base, and then, you know, launch us onto the planet in the next escapade that we have.
That's right. Fulton recovery, the whole thing.
Fulton, if Fulton was powered by drills, yes.
Yeah. That'd be great.
It's ridiculous. But Deep Rock is fun, but unfortunately that is all I have been playing this week. Mr. Nimp.
All right. So, I also played Spiritfarer this week, and I've beaten the game.
Yeah. Hey, nice.
So, that took I did that. Apparently I was at the end of the game just doing the shenanigan quests and the other stuff. And then before I even had all of the spirits off of my boat, which I just had 2 left, it was like, all right, you can finish the game. I'm like,
Yep.
But I have these 2 here still.
I have something to do.
Yeah. So knocked those 2 out. Then I found Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buck is great.
Yeah. Love Buck. And then I did a couple of his stuff and I was like, all right, let me just beat the game so I can get that out of the way and then go back to Buck so I can keep doing dumb things. So pretty fun. Overall, I really enjoyed the game. It has some questing issues to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I should be getting endgame quests 2 hours into starting the game. But
yeah, I feel like the whole game kind of has little issues like that. Like, I get the impression it's a pretty small team, and that's a bigger game, I think, than it looks on the outside. And there's a bunch of issues like that where it's like, yeah, all right, well, I guess I have to ignore this for a while, and 5 hours later, you're like, oh, I get it, okay.
Well, and that's the thing too, is some of the quest descriptions can be pretty vague.
Yeah.
So you're not even 100% positive on what you should be doing or where you should even be going to begin with. And then you just happen to run across somebody and then you happen to remember to go back to where a quest was. And the next thing you know, you did it. So, but overall, it's a good game. It's fun. Yeah. It's still, what was it, $20? $20,
$30, something like that. It's
worth checking out.
I paid Game Pass prices for it, so I don't bloody know.
So $14 a month.
I did. $1 to upgrade and nothing until 2021, my man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, if you get into Game Pass now, $14 a month, whatever. Yeah. Until that all changes.
It's still a good price, yeah.
Yeah. Next game after that, I dipped back into Bloodborne for like very, very, very small amount of time.
Uh-oh. Is this the dip that caused you to tweet about being done with Souls-like games for a while?
The video games in general, yes. No, so it wasn't going horrible at all. I did a Chalice dungeon, just the first one. So I was like, all right, let me just check this out so I can figure out what I have to do. Because a very, very small part of me is still nagging me that it's only 3 more trophies until you get a platinum.
You're so close.
Yeah, just do it. And the rest of me is like, I don't care. But
I don't need to do it.
Yeah. But so I did the very first Chalice dungeon, which I am way over leveled for, which is fine for me. But the enemies are still scaled to the point where it only takes 1 hit for me to kill them. It takes them several hits, but if you're not paying attention and if you're not handling them correctly, they can still kill you, no problem.
Oh, okay.
So there's still a challenge aspect. It's just very low. So that's not an issue. This challenge dungeon was fairly small. There was 3 levels. They were all pretty small maps each, and the last one was a decent size, but not bad. But yeah, taking on all 3 of the end bosses for each level, and just wipe the floor with them, no problem. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll continue this later.
Maybe. I won't uninstall you yet, Bloodborne.
Yeah. And I know, because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the first challenge dungeon is ranked for you to be around level 40, and then it jumps by 20 every time. So, the next one should be around 60, the next one should be about 80, and then 100, and so on. So, it will pick up in challenge. It's just, I don't have the drive to play it anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't have a drive to play video games at all, because all my video games that I'm talking about, I didn't play until Friday night. So,
oh, right.
So that's it for Bloodborne. Next game that I played was Everspace. Jumped back into that because I wasn't tired of getting my butt handed to me by video games this week.
Praise be he, the capital gunship.
Yes. I am on Sector 3 right now, and I just picked up another ancient artifact that I don't know what it does because I'm still in the middle of a run. So I had to fight another one of those stupid orb things, which this time I did not die from the black hole.
Progress.
Yeah. Because I managed to pick up a combat drone. And then, of course, you've got the cannon on top of the gunship. So I've got both of those things going. I shoot off one heavy missile just because this thing tracked way out there. And I didn't want to keep running after it. And then I shot it a couple times, and that orb went down.
Nice.
I was like, cool. So went and claimed my artifact, did my jump, ended up in Sector 3, and there I am. And then I called it good because everything's going well. I am maxed out on fuel. I have full armor. I'm probably just one jump away from it all going to hell.
I was going to say, everything is going well is the start of the downfall while playing roguelikes.
Yep. Right.
Well, that was because every map so far that I've hit, I've had all these opportunities to get fuel. Fuel has not been an issue this run. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting the next 5 maps that I hit to have absolutely no fuel.
100%, yeah.
No, there'll be fuel, but you'll have to blow up the fuel tanks by that stupid armed force to be able to get to the fuel.
Yeah. That's not a problem anymore.
All hail the gunship.
That's right.
So the next game after that, my son and I decided to play No Man's Sky together.
Yes.
Keep laughing, Moon. It gets better.
Oh, no, I'm laughing because I know somebody else who's been playing this game.
Yeah. So
a lot of No Man's Sky this week.
They have their new update that went live this week?
3.0. Yeah, this week.
Game looks great. Like they did a lot of things and they added a lot of things again. Once again, though, because I turned on No Man's Sky, something didn't go right.
Bug time.
So I guess they've added these new weather elements into the game where there's more, not all of them, but there's like these new elements where like there's these high winds specifically that I'm going to talk about. So we get onto this planet. My son and I are doing this co-op mission from the anomaly. We have to go to this planet. We have to destroy like these hazardous plants. All right, cool.
Easy enough.
Yeah, we get there. The atmosphere is fine. I don't have to worry about a hazard shield. It's just keeping up your health and all that. And then we're there for probably about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden we get the severe weather warning that pops in saying high winds approaching.
Okay.
All right, cool. So
pretty standard stuff, sure.
We both burrow underground and continue to burrow towards our location that we needed to get to because our ships couldn't land anywhere near this area that we had to go to. We had to go off in like this little ravine to be able to land, and then we had to climb up this cliff and all this other fun crap. So anyway.
Oh, wow.
I am about halfway to this location, and the map starts glitching. And by starts glitching, I mean I go from being underground to above ground in this high wind scenario.
Oh, that bug is killing me, man. Because I'm like digging for artifacts and stuff. I like take one step forward and it shoots me to the planet's surface. It's like, why?
Yep. So burrow back down, keep going, end up above ground again per glitch. All right. Burrow back down way further, thinking that hopefully if I go far enough down, whatever's glitching will stop glitching. Nope. I use my jetpack once so that I can elevate myself a little bit. And next thing I know, I am in the middle of the sky being thrown around by these high winds, and I can't land or anything. And my shield starts going down, and then my health starts going down. And my son's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
you got picked up by a tornado.
Yeah, I want to swear because I swore, but so I tell him, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm just stuck in whatever's happening. I'm going to have to die to break out of it.
3.0 introduced tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I die. It kicks me back to the anomaly. But what I didn't know was that it kicked me out of the mission. So I leave the anomaly to go back to the planet to go to my gravesite, and I pop back out in the system that I was originally in. Because when you take a mission in the anomaly, it sends you to a random system in the galaxy.
Right.
I don't know where it is.
Can you pick that mission back up?
Yes.
Hmm.
And it sends you to a different system.
Great.
Yeah. I tried warping into my son's game, who was still in the mission. It won't let me do it because he's in the mission.
And I bet it'll show up on the star chart. Who knows where? Like, you probably can't zoom out that far.
It might, but the other stupid problem is that your grave marker, which I can't find an icon online for what your grave marker... I can tell you what the actual grave marker looks like when you look at it, but I can't tell you what the
it's like a diamond, but the bottom part is longer than the top part.
Hey, guess what? So is the Atlas mission stuff.
Oh, crap.
So I completed 2 of these stupid Atlas missions thinking it was my GD grave. Obviously wasn't. So what I eventually had to do was reload my hard save from 4 hours before and lose all of that progress. That way I had all of my inventory that I lost that I can't get back now, because who knows where in the great black sky of death my body is.
God, your luck with this game, man, is just... the absolute worst luck with No Man's Sky.
And look with the game is programming. I mean, phrase it how you want to.
And
I'm not going to... You can be upset with No Man's Sky as much as you want as someone who didn't play it, but I'm not going to be upset at Hello Games or No Man's Sky.
Oh, no, dude, I'm pleased the fact that they stuck with it. Like, I'm so happy with the giant strides they have taken compared to the first time I played it on the Xbox, where I was like, here's the tutorial world, you're dying. But
that's the thing. All the crap that my son and I have had happen to us, we still enjoy playing the game.
Yeah.
And
I give you a roguelike as an example.
Yeah, exactly. I just have this extra step of troubleshooting that apparently nobody else who plays this game runs into.
Right.
But it's still a really fun game. I would still suggest people to buy this. Maybe not for $60.
It's on Game Pass on PC and Xbox.
That's you at Boston.
Well, I knew you were going to say it too. But for what I paid for, because I paid like $20 for $40 for both games, because I bought one for me and one for my son. And we still have a blast playing it. It's just not the greatest game, but there's still a lot of enjoyment you can get out of it. I've got 60 hours in the game with my son. So
can't beat that.
They're working on it. Yeah, exactly. And usually when I complain about something, miraculously there's a patch the following week, and then I never run into that issue again. So
yeah, they put out like 3.02 and it's like, here are the 300 things we fixed, and it's like, oh, all my stuff's fixed. Okay, cool.
So they're still on top of it. It's still a fun game. The improvements and the fixes that they made, like I said, the game looks way better than it has before. It looks it still has the cartoony look, but it looks more realistic. They added 4 extra scanning functions now. Which I don't entirely know what all they actually do. I just happen to have a mission to check them out and build it and do it.
Like, they're like, cool. Find a power hotspot. It's like, no. I'd rather not.
It's basically just you have your scanner up and you have like these like cones on the side, and they tell you if one side's lighting up and the other one's dark, okay, look more to the left, and then if they're both lit up, just keep walking forward, and there you go.
The one on my home base, it keeps saying like, oh yeah, it's this way, and I'm just like walking out into the ocean. It's like, all right, is it any? Nope. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Yeah. I also made the mistake of picking up a mission where I had to scan everything on the planet. I just thought it was a few things. No, it's like 20 of each. And when I got down to like the last 2, I spent like 3 hours on just this one mission trying to find these last 4 things that I needed to scan so I could be done with the stupid mission.
Yeah, they keep giving these like dynamic missions when you land on a system. I think it's like this extended tutorial thing where it's like, discover all 5 planets in here, and there's like the Gek control this area and scan a bunch of flora and fauna, and it's like, yeah, but you want me to scan all of it, and you're asking for a lot.
Especially when you get down to like these really small things. It's like, okay, I'm on this irradiated planet that's basically all desert. I've scanned every mineral that I can find, so I either need to find a mineral in water somewhere or just start digging down and hope that I find a cave that happens to have this one thing that I haven't scanned yet. So
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with the updates so far. There's they listed all the changes. Like there's hundreds of little changes all over the place, and there's a whole bunch of sort of larger changes that I feel like are not going to affect anybody but maybe the most hardcore. I really like the new biomes they've added. They have like a swampy type of planet. They have a volcanic planet, which when storms come in, it just lights the ground on fire, which has been really great, saying like, oh, a storm's coming in, and then I have to get the hell out of there and like jump over flames. Systems can have like 2 or 3 suns at the same time, which is great.
Yep. They added like binary stars and stuff like that too.
Yeah, those have been really fun. Thankfully, they did a really good job of not changing anyone's base. Like if you have a base on the planet's not going to change. There were a little bit of bugs, and they just patched that, I think, yesterday. So apparently they reverted those planets that accidentally got screwed up. I've been having a blast with it. Mostly it's just my wife kind of just like tooling around the universe and sharing whatever materials that we find that the other one doesn't have. And I feel like I don't run into as many bugs as you do. I think largely because I spend maybe an average of 2 to 5 minutes on a planet. Like I land and I don't do any of the Nexus missions really. Although I should, because I'm on one of those living ships.
Yeah, we looked at that. It's like 3,000 silver, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like 3,500 Quicksilver, and I think I have like 1,800. So I just need to do like a couple more missions. But they don't run great because it's the multiplayer stuff, and the multiplayer stuff has frame rate issues in the game. Yeah. Normally, I'm 1080p 60, which is great. When you're doing the multiplayer stuff, it's normally like 1080 45, which is fine, but it kind of fluctuates all over the place, and it's not a great experience. Yeah. Do you
feel like they've moved the camera closer to your character?
I play in first person, so I don't know.
Okay. I normally play in third person, so I can kind of keep an eye on my son sometimes, because he's always blowing up random stuff he shouldn't be. But to me, it feels like my character now takes up a lot more of the screen than it did before. And I haven't found a way to be able to back that up a little bit. I
feel like the camera in your ship's cockpit looks different. Like that looks like it's pulled back a little bit. So I wonder if they kind of massage that stuff a little bit.
And I was going to try PlayStation VR this week, but I was not feeling well enough to try that, because I figured this would be the other game that I get 2 seconds
throw
into
up in space. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Do a barrel and you're like, oh god. Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing a little bit more of the base building stuff. Like I built an underwater exocraft. I'm like starting some of the farming stuff, but I'm taking a really long time on that because I'm not super enjoying it. But some of the storyline stuff is surprisingly interesting. So I'm spending a little bit of time with that. But
they have also added, since the last time I brought up about my redneck base, they have a component that you can build now that camouflages all the wires in your base so that you can't see them.
Great. I need that, because that's my base. I have like 2 batteries and it's already real bad.
Everything is on the roof of my base, and it's just wires everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, No Man's Sky, I think is in an even better position. There's space worms now. People have always been salty about that since the
trailer.
Yeah, since the original trailer where there's a space worm, and now there's space worms. So shut up.
Interesting timing. No Man's Sky. Yes. Suddenly update 3.7.
Did you put spices in there too?
Yeah. Is there melange that I need to collect to build something?
Maybe they're just trying to spec it to get players in like you, Moon.
Yeah, that's right.
You can do your own spice run.
Dude, yeah. I've got Elite Dangerous for that stuff. If Elite Dangerous had giant worms, I'd be sold 1,000 times over.
Well, you'll be able to walk around planets pretty soon. Who knows what's going to be down there?
Yeah, how has that team done what they've done with that game? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I agree with you, Nimp. I think No Man's Sky is in a really great spot, and I think the variety that they keep introducing with the game, like the weather now and all that stuff. Like there are now really tall peaks, really low valleys. Like it's not just kind of one level of caves and one level of mountains. Now you can run into some really cool planets, and I think that's going to help a lot of people. I'd give it a shot. It's on Game Pass. It's free.
I'm also hearing...
Sorry to rewind a quick second here, but I just got a text message from Rob, who I was talking earlier about bringing over to the Everspace camp. He described the gunship as thick with 2 C's, just so we're all aware.
Yes.
It is.
Him thick.
I will also say, though, about No Man's Sky, and I'm getting this secondhand from a 10-year-old, my son, who's paying attention to a lot more news than I am about No Man's Sky, is apparently this is the last major update for No Man's Sky. Like, they're still going to do patch fixes, but they're not releasing new content for it.
I saw a quote from Sean Murray, the head guy over there at Hello Games, and I think you can read it a couple of different ways. I think you can say this is the last major update, or this is the next major update, and the next major update after this, like 4.0, might be a considerable distance out. Not like 2.0 came out and patch, and each one of these patches was really big, and 3.0 was really big. It sort of seems like he might be saying the expectation that, like, we'll do this again down the road, but maybe don't expect it next year. Like, maybe 2022, but we're not giving up on it, but maybe 4.0 is a ways off, but not out of the question.
Has Hello Games put out anything since No Man's Sky?
Nope.
Yeah, they just put out The Last Campfire.
No, come on, they didn't put anything out. No Man's Sky is all they've been working on for 17,000 years. We all know this.
No, they just put out Last Campfire was their most recent game that came out a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I just didn't hear
like that.
anything about it in the slightest.
Yeah, it got a lot of coverage early on because people were saying, like, hey, Hello Games is making something else. Like, No Man's Sky isn't their first game anyway.
No. I believe Hardcore Henry, or wherever it was, the bike riding game,
Henry
was so good. Like, it was so good. It was Trials.
It was good. Yeah. But I think the reason why The Last Campfire isn't getting a lot of coverage is because it's kind of like a chill, no-fail puzzle game.
So the best kind.
Yeah, and I think people have been enjoying it, but for some reason, it came out on a bunch of platforms, and it came out on Apple Arcade, and it just seems like nobody picked it up for some reason.
I was just curious, just because I haven't heard any releases or anyone talk about Hello Games unless it's related to No Man's Sky. So I was just kind of curious. It's like, where do they keep getting their income to keep only working on No Man's Sky?
Well,
I don't have an issue with, because they're doing a lot of good stuff with it. But...
Yeah. I think they also just announced that they're working on like another big brand new game. I think they just said they started working on that recently.
Every Man's Sky.
Right. That's right.
And then the last game that I have played is Little Witch Nobeta. This is an early
Japanese
access game. Kinda.
Can I say
like a visual novel that might be released on Steam?
No. This is a Souls-light game.
I'm going to put a trailer here on the stream for everyone that wants to see it.
So, what this game is, besides it being a Dark Souls light kind of game, is that you play as this little witch, and it's all your attacks and everything are mostly based around you using magic. You do have physical attacks that you can use, but that's not what you should be doing. So, I feel like I'm about halfway through the second area. The first area was you're going through this decrepit castle, and you're just kind of learning how to play the game, and you've got these shadow creatures and stuff that you can attack and shoot up and all that fun crap. And then you find a cat, and then you fight a boss.
Here we go.
So, based on the trailer the boss is showing on stream, which I'm watching at the same time, folks, because
that's the first boss.
I don't know anything about this game. This looks like Gears of Wand, which was the nickname for the Harry Potter games on the 360 era.
Uh-huh.
No, this is way better.
Boy, there was that one Harry Potter game on 360. I don't remember what it was called, but it was the one where you get to explore the whole
It was Azkaban.
Hogwarts.
It was Prisoner of Azkaban, and that was a great game.
It was really good. Like, you got to explore the whole thing and do a whole bunch of missions. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
You shouldn't buy any Harry Potter games now because J.K. Rowling is a terrible human being. But like, it was great at the time. We didn't know any better.
This looks like Gears of Wand. Does it play like a third-person shooter?
No, it plays third person, but not like a shooter.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of shooting of wands in that.
Yeah, but not like a gun or anything. I don't know. I've never played Gears of Wand or whatever you were calling it, so I don't even know what that is.
It's literally just Gears of War, but you use a wand instead of a gun.
Okay, sure, whatever. So no. So you do have, your stamina bar, your health bar, and your magic bar. Your magic bar will slowly refill as you play the game, but you can have it refill faster if you do physical attacks on an enemy or if you dodge their attacks. And you do like close dodges. Fighting the first boss that I had, which was the ghost armor thing, I didn't have to get anywhere near that boss to fight it. It was mostly me just shooting it with the magic that I had, and then it would do its range attacks. Yeah, okay, fine. It's Gears of Wand. I told you I don't know what the stupid game is. I've never heard of it before.
For anyone listening to the audio version, Moon is like smugly nodding over here, driving Nimp crazy.
So anyway,
Nimp, what he's talking about is there was a bunch of third-person shooter Harry Potter games on the 360 that was very much like, what if we made Gears of War but with Harry Potter? And they kind of, except for that one, they kind of didn't work out because they were just trying to copy Gears of War.
Well, how about this, Moon? What if we made Gears of War but we made it a Dark Souls game?
Yeah, man. Wait, what?
Gears of One Souls?
Yeah. So I didn't have to get close to the first boss to have to attack it. But you have the option of, at that fight, you only have one magic that you can use. You can choose to charge your attack, where your character will basically charge it, and you have this little bar that fills up, and it does this massive attack that can stun lock the enemy, and then you can continue attacking it. In the second area that I am in, I just picked up Wind Magic, which is actually just an ability, not an actual magic that I can use, but it lets you double jump. So I can't attack with it, but it's more of like a support skill. Nice. And then I just picked up Ice Magic, which is like a machine gun attack where you just hold down the mouse button and it's just shooting ice magic.
Okay.
You can pray at these statues, and then you get your level up options where you can choose to level up certain stats, just like in Dark Souls, that affect different parameters and all that fun crap. It is early access, so I think there's only 5 areas / 5 bosses in this game so far, and it's only like $10 on Steam.
Okay.
So, and there is a free demo that you can download and check out if you don't want to pay for it off the bat. The demo is the first area that you can do.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks anime-esque, but it's difficult. I've had not bosses. I've had enemies that have just randomly shown up, like quite literally, they form up out of the ground and they're just right next to you.
Oh boy.
And since I'm trying to play this as a mostly ranged thing, it kind of scares the heck out of you when you turn the camera around and there's this big thing right there looking at you, trying to attack you. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Actually,
it sounds promising.
Cool. Yeah. It like I said, free demo, check it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
The Little Witch Nobeta, Nobeta.
Correct.
Yep.
That's all I got this week.
All right, there's a big new patch and a new DLC that came out for the Stellaris console edition. So I hopped back in to finish the Robotic Overlords playthrough I was playing through. Went through that and just stomped everybody. And hilariously, I didn't realize that one of the win victories was exterminate everyone in the galaxy. So I bombed. I turned I bombed this planet so badly it turned into a tomb world, which is essentially unlivable by literally anyone. So as soon as I did that, it was like, hey, you won the war. I hit the X button, and it was like, hey, you won the game. Good job. You're the only one left. One of one.
The real monster was Boston all along.
That's right. And the monster was inside me. That was a fun playthrough, so I thought I would swing the other way and try and finish out my pure pacifism run that I was doing. And there's a trophy in the game that I believe the wording has changed. So essentially what you have to do now is you have to play through a game where you are not at war for 200 years, which is a considerable amount of time, but not really impossible. So how I did it was I created a species in the game, because you can pick from like 15 different species, or you can create your own. I created one that was like a fanatical pacifist, so it's no matter what, they're absolutely not going to fight. I forced them to show up in my next game, and I played as a different pacifist civilization. So, and forced only the two of us to show up. No one else is going to show up. Nothing else is going to happen. So things were going really well because no one is going to fight. I'm fighting some pirates. I'm fighting some like alien invaders and stuff like that, but never to the point where the game kicks it into like a full-fledged war. It's just kind of, you're defending your areas. I open trade deals with them. I'm opening up migration pacts. Everything is going super well. I create a federation with them, so like we're tightly coupled together, and everything is going great. You start the game at 2200, so I'm trying to get to 2400, and by that point the trophy should pop. So I'm like 50 years in, everything is great. Technology is great. I'm expanding. I'm exploring. We're super happy. Everything's great. 100 years in, 150 years in, everything's great. I'm getting close to the finish line. I got up to 2392.
Okay.
I'm 8 years away, which is maybe like an hour of playthrough of like actual time. I had no idea this was happening, but the other civilization, things were going so poorly with like a splinter group in their society that a civil war broke out, and they were unable to sort of tamp it down before it got bad, that a full-fledged civil war broke out. And because I was in a federation with them, I'm also involved in the Civil War now. Oh, so no. The game kicked me into a full-fledged war 8 years before I was about to have this trophy. So I deleted that save. I'm going to try again, but like I need to do something different beforehand, because like it's so close to getting that, of which no one can agree whether or not that trophy is going to pop at 200 years, but like it's if
those are the best achievements / trophies,
because how it used to work before was you could game it super easily by doing what I just did, which is you're pacifist and you spawn a pacifist civilization in at the same time. As soon as you would unpause the game at the beginning, the trophy would pop immediately. You didn't have to do anything. They fixed it at some point, but they never detailed what the fix is in the patch notes. So everyone is like, well, I already have the trophy, but it should be this. So I guess I'll find out one of these weeks.
It sounds like all you have to do is roll back your patches.
I wish I could. I own this digitally, so you can't really.
Sounds like you need to buy a physical copy.
I actually don't know if they put this out physically. That's a good question. Interesting. Division 2 started their new season. What season is it? Season 3? I didn't play last season. So I think it's season 3. The big thing they announced this time was it's free for owners of Warlords of New York, which has been on sale for like $15 pretty recently. It's called The Summit. It is going to sound similar to those that played Division 1. This is a tower that is 100 floors, and all of the floors are randomized.
The Chrysler Building.
Yeah, it's so far it has been pretty interesting. What was the mode called in Division 1, Moon?
I can't even remember, but all
Underground?
I ask is yes, it was Underground.
Okay.
I was just curious how the same crap can happen to the same guy twice.
I don't know. But yeah, so far I played a little bit of it. It seems good so far. They randomized the floor layout, which there doesn't seem to be too many variations there. But they randomize what enemy forces you're fighting, and then what objectives you have to do. Whether you have to destroy an EMP or hack some laptops or kind of just wipe out enemies. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones that I haven't seen before, but it gets more difficult the higher up you get, and it seems pretty good so far, which means that the community absolutely hates it because it's the Division 2 community and nothing can ever make them happy.
Dude, you don't even have to put Division 2 in that sentence. You could have just said it's the community and you can never make them happy.
Yeah, I have. It's been a long time since I have seen a community that genuinely hates the thing that they're playing. It's like Star Wars fans. They genuinely hate the thing they love, but they just won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Division 2 fans just won't stop playing, and they hate that game. But they're just going to get back on every single day and just keep hating it. I just don't understand it. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim came out this week, and I started that. This is Atlas's new game. So far seems really promising. I'm doing the prologues of each character. It sort of gives you each character in order here. And it seems like in kind of a fun way, they're just chucking literally every sci-fi trope into this game because you are high school students piloting giant mechs fighting kaiju, and there's time travel. And that's just in like the first prologue of the first character. So
it's day one, mission one.
Yes, literally.
Who has amnesia?
Nobody yet, but I one of these 13 characters definitely will.
Is there a talking cat or a talking weapon or something sentient that shouldn't be sentient?
Not yet. There's a bunch of high school students that some people are calling them by different names, so it seems like there might be one of those like memory wipe rebirth things that sci-fi things love. But it's kind of interesting because half of the game is kind of not point and click adventure, but you can like walk around in a sort of visual novel thing. There's no puzzle solving, so Moon won't hate it.
I don't hate all puzzles.
No, you just don't like point and click adventures, which is fair.
True.
That's not a genre for everybody.
But visual novels are different because usually they are very, very simplified things like that. It's not.
It's just a book, basically.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not take the comb and shave the cat and then put the comb on the cat's eyebrows.
Put the mustache.
The metal detector.
Yeah. Well, and it is interesting because it has like an interesting kind of Final Fantasy II sort of thing where someone will say an important term and then you can kind of either think about it and kind of reveal your character's inner thoughts about this thing, or sort of present that as a topic to talk to someone about and kind of further the story. And then the other half of it is a real-time strategy game where you're fighting waves of kaiju that are trying to destroy your sentinel in the city, which is a wild swing in the completely opposite direction. So I think I've played like 3 hours of it so far this week. I've had a hard time finding windows of opportunity where I can kind of sit down and really get into it. But I'm hoping to find like a good chunk of time this upcoming week. Talk about No Man's Sky. Last game this week, Hades. Hades is out of early access.
Stop it. You're not allowed to talk about this. I don't need to start another new game.
Well, friend of the show, Big Mackie, noquarters.net, bmfcast.com, said that the Switch version runs really well, and it was on sale. I think it was like $5 off. I think it's normally $25, and it was $20, something around there. And I liked what I played of the early access because I bought that on Epic Games Store when it came out, like a year ago or so? It's been a while. So, and everybody is enjoying it and playing it. It's like, okay, fine. I'll buy a great game on the Switch that runs well. Looking at you, Sexy Brutale, and I'll have fun with it. And it's been interesting, and it's been frustrating. I don't want to be this dude. I don't want to be this, like...
I don't want to be the quote-unquote hipster here, but...
I don't want to be the quote-unquote D-bag about roguelikes here. But it always frustrates me that there's a misunderstanding about the genre. And I think the genre itself has done itself a disservice. That, contrary to popular belief, roguelikes are not primarily reliant on randomness. They are primarily reliant on your skill. The randomness is just icing on that cake. So the expectation is that death over death, in a fair roguelike, death over death will get you better at the game. Moon and I coined it as the flow chart when we were doing T-Bomb R, that you're learning, oh, this is what this enemy does, so I need to do this, and when this enemy is near this other enemy, I have to watch out for this thing, and the champion version of this enemy does this other thing, and your experience with the game and your skill with the game overall kind of continues to get honed, and that flowchart gets better, that in a solid roguelike, the weapons and the randomness of weapons and floor layout and traps and stuff like that complement that flowchart and kind of continue to expand it. We just got through playing Neon Abyss on We Rogue Like It, and that was very much one of those where it's like, all right, these enemies do this, and these items have this sort of this synergy between them, but at its core, if you're good at jumping and shooting, that's going to carry you really far. Like I primarily used the default gun in that game, and that carried me through 95% of that game. So it's a little bit frustrating as someone who genuinely loves the genre / subgenre that there's so many people out there saying, I really love Hades, even though I hate roguelikes because I hate the randomness. But it's fine because you're playing roguelike, so I don't want to be like super hipster where it's like, you can't like it because you haven't put 1,000 hours in Binding of Isaac. Have you even played Enter the Gungeon? You can't be that dude. Otherwise, you'd be a Star Wars fan.
It's just people being genre lazy for the most part. 'Cause you get the same thing with Souls games too, where it's like, oh, it's a really hard game, so it's a Souls-like game. It's like,
no.
It's just a hard game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, in the majority of games, dying doesn't feel good and puts you at a severe disadvantage, or it brings you back to a checkpoint and you lose an hour, or in roguelikes, sometimes you'll have a really great run that's like an hour and a half and you just make a stupid choice and you die and you start back over.
Or you have 5 carriers fly into a map and wipe you off. Whatever.
Exactly. But that is I think that's part of the appeal of the subgenre. And I get why people are frustrated about it, but I think it would be like killing Mom the first time in Isaac and then just uninstalling. Be like, that was great. It's like, you haven't. There's so much. There's 999 more hours to go. Like there's still so much more. I'm prefacing all of that by the thing that people are praising about Hades, and I think the thing that they are doing incredibly well is that run over run, the storyline is progressing. So every time you run into an upgrade that is aligned to an Olympian god, they'll have a voice line and they'll have some sort of story continuation. Your character will have voices too. In between runs, everyone in kind of the hub area will talk to you. Every time you run into a boss, they'll have a new storyline thing for you again. So it's, even if you're not doing well at the game is continuing, as opposed to saying, well, you just have to keep getting better to see more of it. And I think the other smart thing they've done is they have an optional mode in there called God Mode. It's just a toggle. And it's interesting because God Mode typically means you're invincible and you can't lose. What God Mode means in this is every time you die, you get a percentage point of resistance. So you take less damage the more runs you don't successfully get through. I think that's a really cool idea.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. And Hades is really great, and it runs super smoothly on Switch. I'm playing in handheld, so everything's a little tiny, but not unreadable, not to the point where I can't play the game. And it largely hasn't changed since early access. So it's this fast-moving, kind of dashing, hack and slash, magic throwing, isometric 2D roguelike, where you're going from room to room and you're choosing pathways, and the pathways you're choosing are really clear about what reward you're going to get for clearing that next room, so you can kind of plan your path through the dungeon. And it's gorgeous. Its music is fantastic, and the voice acting is fantastic, which I wasn't expecting there to be that much in this game. And it's really great. And I feel like this can easily be one of those roguelikes that there are very few roguelikes. We're just talking about this with Dungeon the Endless, which we're playing on We Roguelike right now, which is literally the last roguelike I would recommend for anyone that wants to get into the genre. And one I would kind of have a hard time recommending. I'm really loving it, but I have a hard time recommending it for someone, even for someone that really likes roguelikes, because it's a very unique game. Hades is really easy to recommend for anyone that loves roguelikes. You're probably already playing it anyway. But even for someone that this is a great starter game, or someone who hasn't liked the genre before. Like, it's that one perfect game where it's like, look, even if you don't like dying, you're making progress. Even if you think it's too hard, which it is fairly hard, but you can change all those settings. Turn on God Mode. And as you learn how to get better in the game gets a little bit easier by taking less damage off of you. So I was coming in here prepared to talk a lot about Hades. Instead, I talked a lot about Star Wars fans. But largely, I don't have a ton to talk about because pretty much everybody is talking about it, and you're probably seeing a lot of GIFs and videos from people out there. And Hades is exactly as good as it looks. It plays super smoothly. It's a lot of fun. The upgrades between runs are really great and really impactful. And it's just a blast to play. I mean, that studio makes great games.
It's also worth saying that the thirst is strong with this one.
The thirst is very strong, which is always great to see with games, because that means more people will play it. Mm-hmm. And the more fan art that a community generates for a game, the more that people will play that game, which is great for roguelikes. And go play Bastion, too. Bastion was also really great. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break. let's talk releases for the week of September 28th, 2020. Technically coming out tonight, Genshin Impact comes out for PC, PS4, iOS, and Android. This is, if you haven't seen this, it looks but doesn't play a lot like anime Breath of the Wild. Everyone, including myself, is fairly excited about this, and the beta seems like it went super well. So I think, I don't remember what the studio's previous game was. Something Impact 3, like Henshin Impact 3?
Yeah, they did a lot of mobile games and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, this is their first big, like, really big multi-platform kind of push, and this game looks incredible. So I'm pretty excited to check that out, probably tomorrow.
I'm going to do it tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, nice and late.
I'll be at work, so it doesn't matter.
There you go. But if Nim's boss is working, definitely not playing it at work at all.
No, boss, definitely I am playing
not.
At work.
Panzer Dragoon Remake comes out on PS4, which I feel like I hadn't heard of before, which feels a little bit crazy. We've probably talked about it on other platforms on the show, but it seems like it just slipped right off of my brain. Spelunky 2 comes out on PC. This is very much the game that I was thinking... I was frustrated earlier today because I thought, I need to add Spelunky 2 to our roguelike spreadsheet. And then by the time I got the spreadsheet open, totally forgot about what it is. And now I don't remember because we're recording in the middle of the show. Yeah, all right. So Spelunky 2 is out on PC. The catch here is it's not launching with online co-op because they're still ironing out the bugs with that. And they didn't want to delay it anymore. So that'll get patched in at a later date. So go play Spelunky 2. Super Mario Bros. 35 comes out on the Switch. This is that Battle Royale Mario platformer Tetris 99 style thing, which just I will have to try because it sounds crazy. I don't know. Oh, Nintendo. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, comes out on PS4 and Xbox One. Really interested to see what reviews are about this because it genuinely looks pretty good. Like it very much looks like a sequel to Crash 3 in the way that it not getting worried about all this other stuff that the games after Crash 3 sort of got lost in. So interesting. And Star Wars Squadrons comes out on PC, PS4, and
That's
Xbox
out this
One.
week.
Yeah, I'm under NDA on that one, so I can't say more, but I was in the beta for that. So it'll be interesting to see what everyone thinks about when that comes out.
Can you say
Cough.
Can you say what you played it on, or?
I played it on PS4.
Okay.
Yeah. It functioned well on PS4 during the beta.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's move on to news stories. Megaton this week. Microsoft purchases another studio, except this time it's Bethesda. Bethesda has confirmed they were purchased for $7.5 billion.
For the record, I think that's cheap.
I'm surprised it wasn't more because $7.5 billion seems really cheap for the Skyrim peeps.
Bethesda has said Skyrim peeps. Come on.
Well, yeah, we'll get here into the studios in a second. Bethesda has said they'll be honoring existing multi-platform game commitments. So don't worry, Deathloop isn't going to get canceled on PS4 or anything. So this includes Arcane, ZeniMax, Bethesda, id, Tango Gameworks. Who else is on here?
The Bulletstorm people.
Yep, Bulletstorm people. So it's like
Fly.
Yeah, people can fly. It's Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Garfield, Starfield, whatever that is, Prey, and Evil Within, among like a bajillion other.
That's literally just the games that came out within the past 2 years or so.
Yeah, like those are the big like tentpole ones. Nevertheless, like Deathloop and what's the other big one they have on the Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are like the big ones coming out too. Yeah, Bethesda Softworks. What else do they have?
It's a lot more than you think.
Whoa, hold on. Now Twitter makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't. But now this one specific tweet I saw makes sense.
Okay.
Someone tweeted at Todd Howard and asked the Fallout studio at Bethesda and said, "So any chance of a New Vegas 2 now?" I just realized.
Oh yeah.
Microsoft owned Obsidian, who made.
I'm already so tired of hearing about this.
Oh, me too.
Yes. New Vegas 2. Here's the spoiler alert. If they do New Vegas 2, it's not going to be good because the last couple Fallout games have not been good.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout 3 was fine. Fallout 4 wasn't really that great. And I haven't played Fallout 76 because it's not what I'm looking for.
Who asked for an MMO Fallout game?
Right. And I hear
I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online, because who asked for an MMO Elder Scrolls? Even though it's apparently a really good game.
Yeah, I hear ESO is like really good, but
it makes gangbusters as well. Like it does really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were like, why would Microsoft want to purchase Bethesda? Because apparently they want to own every Western RPG studio in this hemisphere. So why not buy Bethesda, who owns like 4 of them, and get that ESO money?
I was talking. I had mentioned this on the pre-show, but I was talking with the boys on Friday night, and it was like, okay, so the rumor was Sega for the longest time. The rumor was Sega, which they could still do, because in my opinion, $7.75 billion for this lot is cheap.
Right.
Like, it's genuinely cheap. Don't get me wrong; they're going to have to do a whole bunch of influx of money to like engine dev to get the whatever that engine is called up to snuff these days.
Was it Gamebryo?
Yes.
They can't still be using Gamebryo.
They 100%. They're still using Gamebryo. Fallout 76 looks exact same as Fallout 4. Fallout 4 used an updated and hybridized Gamebryo from something else.
Sure, yeah.
But yes, they're going to need to pump a bunch of money into it. But we were talking about like, why didn't they buy Sega? Why they bought Bethesda? And honestly, our opinion was because Microsoft doesn't sell in Japan.
No, and they say that they're trying another push here with the Series X. You know, their largest console. They're gonna try and do another push here, and I think buying more RPG studios will help. But I think when you look at any of these acquisitions, I think when you're Microsoft, I think the biggest selling point is you get Elder Scrolls 6 on Game Pass for free day one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
Day one.
Well, and I think Starfield is even less. I think Starfield is even less important because I think Elder Scrolls 6 will get people into Game Pass. When they get into Game Pass, they're not going to leave. Because you can say like, hey man, $1 for your first month of Game Pass, you get to play Elder Scrolls 6 for $1. Come on, man, come on over.
And then it's a game that'll last you 400 hours.
Yeah, and you didn't have to buy it. I think that's a really good selling point for the Game Pass ecosystem.
Yeah, me and Jess had this conversation when Game Pass first came out, and my argument was always, as long as day one they put 2 games a year onto that platform, that are worth my time and money, that I would buy them day one anyway, then Game Pass is saving me money, period.
You're at least breaking even.
Because $260 is $120, not including tax and everything else for the full year. It works out as long as there's 2 games on that platform per year that I want to play, then I'm fine. And even though I don't have to pay for it for another couple of years at least, it's still having at least 2 games day and date every year that I want to play on it. I just played Spiritfarer, which Nimp paid $25 for. I basically paid nothing for it. I just played it through, and it's probably going to be on my Game of the Year list.
Yep. And it's that sort of stuff that I think works really well for gamers like us, where it's just like, all right, I mean, I can download it. It's just the only time it takes me is to try it out and download it. Like, that doesn't matter. And we can play 30 games a year on Game Pass. Like, you played Carrion this year, which I would have happily paid for, but I'm going to play in Game Pass because, it's free over there. And I think that works really well for people like us, but I think they really are working very closely towards the Netflix model that we thought we thought that the streaming game services were going to be, but it turns out Game Pass is very much, hey, we bought all of these studios. It's like Netflix making their own movies and TV shows. You got to sign up for Netflix for it, and then you're going to stay. So Microsoft's going to buy all these big game studios that's going to make all of these games that people already want to play. Just got to sign up for Game Pass, man. You can buy an Xbox Series X and never have to buy another game if you don't want to.
Like, does that make like Crackdown 3 the equivalent of Bright?
I never saw Bright, but I heard it was fine. So maybe the analog is pretty clear. Yeah,
a bit too accurate for me.
Yeah, I think you found it. Yeah. So I think this is a really solid and really out of left field purchase. And I think it's a smart choice for them.
Timing,
and hopefully
couldn't have been done better. The day before pre-orders went live for the Series X.
Yep. Hey, we bought the Fallout guys. We bought the Elder Scrolls guys. How's that Xbox sound? And I mean, and it'll be for anyone that wants to be snarky about it. Microsoft didn't lose out on Minecraft money. They put it out on everything, including the Switch and like your fridge. They're not going to stop Bethesda from putting out Elder Scrolls 6 on PS4 and Stadia and as many platforms as they can because they want to make that money.
I
but
think
they're really going to push it on Game Pass.
It's going to be timed. Like, that's my argument.
Oh, sure.
Like,
yeah. I'd be surprised if they did that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they said, like, look, it's on a lot of platforms, but Game Pass, like they're really, really pushing the freeness of Game Pass. So, yeah. Interesting. Let's talk about next-gen Detail Watch. We got a bunch of news stories here about next-gen features because it's the end of September. The Xbox Series X and S expansion cards cost, drumroll please, $220 for the 1 terabyte. Yeah, it's that was about what the rumors were. And the interesting thing here is that pre-orders have started for the PC, PCIe 4 NVMe M2 drives, which is essentially what these expansion cards are for the Series X.
It's also going to be what Sony are going to use.
Yeah, Sony will let you plug off-the-shelf drives of these sorts into the PS5 somewhere. Who knows where? Those, $220 for 1 terabyte. So, yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's really expensive on top of a $500 console,
However,
but that's kind of the price.
Yeah, it's not price gouging. This isn't
exactly
the 360 hard drive that's slotted onto the top.
It isn't Vita memory cards. Yeah, like, it is expensive, and I wish there was a larger drive in both consoles, but that's sort of the hard drive space you have for these PCIe 4 NVMe M2 drives. So, like, that's what we got, and that's sort of how it's going to work. So, very, like Moon said, very happy to see it's not Seagate being like, sorry, man, it's $400. And these ones come out for a PC at half the price. And you're like, wait a minute. That's not going to work. So happy to hear that. On the other end of the spectrum here, we've been talking since pretty much the Series X and S has been a rumor about the scenario that Moon finds himself in. And I know a lot of other people do with an external SSD or an external platter drive that's stuck into their Xbox One right now. And our question for the longest time has been, I just want to unplug that from my Xbox One. I want to plug that into my Series whatever, and then I just want to fire games up. Like, I don't want to have to do anything. The answer to that is yes. You can do that. Xbox Director of Program Management Jason Ronald says, Yes. So essentially, if it's how it sounds is essentially if it's working in your Xbox One right now, you can plug it into your Series X or S, and your Xbox One, 360, and original Xbox games will work right away, running off of that external hard drive.
Yeah, it won't be the enhanced games, but it will be...
Right.
So all of those games, I don't even know if they'll be able to do that weird HDR trick that they're planning on doing.
Yeah, the Dark Magic HDR.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to do that off it, but I don't care. Like, I get to
you don't have to re-download 400 games.
4 terabytes of data.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing, because it's come up a lot lately as people are wrapping their head around how these consoles work. Don't forget that the Series X has a 1 terabyte drive inside of it, but you can offload Series X games that you're not playing right now to an external hard drive to store them, not run them. And then you can copy them back over into your internal memory once you want to play them again. So if you want to do that shuffling so you don't have to waste a bunch of your bandwidth, like re-downloading the 120 gigs of Call of Duty every time a new season comes out, you can kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to hear that you can use that drive for multiple stuff, and that's still a thing that can work.
I'm going to have like 8 black boxes next to my TV. You're going to think I'm like an air crash attendant or something where I just go and collect them from the scene of the problems?
Well, an 8 terabyte external spinning drive is going to be cheaper than a 1 terabyte expansion card for the Series X.
Dude,
so like
I've either got 4 or I've got 8 plugged in now. I couldn't tell you. 300 games makes me think it might be an 8. But I'm fine with just running that stuff off the thing. If I want to get into a game that much, and I feel like running like the enhanced versions of it, or if it's something that's going to be frequently in the rotation. Apex Legends, straight on that drive.
Oh yeah.
If there's
Get those load times.
If there's any upgrades for it, I'll do it. Like visually, I'll do it.
Oh sure.
But for stuff like that, though, if there's no visual upgrade, I'm not going to move her over, because at the end of the day, my load time isn't going to matter one jot, because the load time for an MMO or a battle royale is always based off the slowest load time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I can't wait for Moon to show up with the hard drive rack hooked up to his new Series X.
He 3D printed a hard drive rack.
Mm-hmm.
Last next-gen detail watch news here. Microsoft has also detailed an upcoming Xbox Store feature. The language here is that it sounds like it will be across the Xbox One series of consoles, along with the Series X and S series of consoles. Woof. So they're going to let you preload a game that you haven't purchased. So essentially what this is right now they're sort of focusing on people that are going to buy a lot of physical games. And maybe they have a slow network connection, or maybe there's like a really big day one patch. You're going to be able to go into the store, preload that game, patch it all up, get all the day one patches and all that. What a crazy time we live in. And then when you get the disc, pop that bad boy in your console, or whenever you purchase it digitally or whatever, get that ready and it'll be ready to play right away. Probably not something that a lot of people are going to be using, but especially for those that have bandwidth caps or slow internet speeds, it's going to take a while for that stuff to download. I think that's a cool feature.
Yeah. Hello piracy, though, by the way, because people are just going to download these to their modded consoles, get the full executable, and then immediately post up without having to buy the game at all.
Sure. Go crazy. Or just get Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Last news story here. Amazon announces Luna, their cloud gaming service, which I thought they had lost their mind. They probably have. The difference is, and the thing that we've always complained about with Stadia, is that Stadia costs X dollars per month, and then you buy $60 games on top of it. Luna costs $6 a month with an unlimited game time for their library of games. So it's literally what we wanted Stadia to be, and somehow Stadia still isn't, which is baffling.
It's almost like it sounds like it's xCloud.
Right, yeah, exactly. On launch, it's going to do 1080p at 60 frames, 4K coming later. They show like a Luna Plus, which is essentially the thing I was just talking about. There's also a Ubisoft channel over there that's really promoting like day one access to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and a bunch of their new games. There's no pricing for that channel, so I think that leaves me a little not hesitant, but has me ask a lot of questions of like, so is it going to be like the nightmare that cable TV subscriptions are, where it's like, well, that's part of the EA Play Platinum Plus plan. If you want to play that game, that's not part of the EA Plus plan or the Luna Plus, getting into that thing. So I hope they don't split that up too much, because it sounds like it could potentially be the thing we wanted Stadia to be, which is buy a Fire Stick from Amazon, plug it in your TV, turn on this controller, and you can just start playing the game. There's some Twitch integration as well that they're talking about, which is if you see someone playing this game, hit a button and you're just in the game right away and you're playing, which could be cool. Stadia was supposed to do that. I don't know if they still are or not, or if they are and I just don't care about their features. But this is interesting, and I feel like, unlike Stadia, it seems like Amazon is on the right path here for this. We'll just have to see if it can find a market, especially with the brand new consoles coming out in the 3080. So, yeah. Let's move on. A question here this week from T-Bomb Rocks. Now that Xbox owns Bethesda, they now own a successful and not so successful MMO in Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, respectively. My questions are, how do they improve Fallout 76, and what should they add to ESO? So let's tackle Fallout 76 first. I mean...
Well, have any of us played either of these games?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
I played like 5 minutes of ESO and thought like, yeah, that's Elder Scrolls with more people in it. And it was very early on.
I think I did a quick trial, same thing, where it's like, okay, yeah, this kind of looks like a thing, and then never actually played it. So
yeah, they put private servers into Fallout 76 because I remember that
only as part of the Fallout 76 VIP members.
Yeah, because you had the big kerfuffle was like, yeah, they finally did it. Oh, you have to pay for it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Fallout 76 is like that thing that nobody really wanted, because like, yeah, it's another Fallout. It's like that famous clip from E3 when Final Fantasy XI got announced, where they showed this whole trailer and Final Fantasy XI, blends on the screen. Everyone's going, yeah, and then the word online comes on the screen, and the whole crowd goes, ah. Like, that was very much Fallout 76, where it's like, new Fallout, multiplayer. Fallout 76 has a fairly lively and large population right now, so I feel like you don't screw it up and you're fine for another couple of years until it kind of just fades, or you keep the servers up forever and you can still play it, but we're done with content updates.
Dude, exact same thing as Sea of Thieves. You stick it on, you have a small crew maintaining it, doing small updates here and there, new content, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You throw it on Game Pass, it's free to play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, God, Sea of Thieves.
That's what they can do with both of them, put them on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, talk about Sea of Thieves being like an out-of-nowhere success story, like the same way as No Man's Sky, where it's like... all right, you guys didn't like this. It's kind of a simple experience, but we're just gonna nose the grindstone. We're gonna keep working on it because we believe in it.
So complicated now as well. There's so much stuff to do in that game.
Yeah, sort of for better or for worse, but yeah. And I think with Elder Scrolls Online, I think you guys are right. Like, I think you throw like maybe you handle it like Destiny, where it's like, here's the base game and the expansions on on Game Pass, and if you pre-order, you get a bunch of pre-order stuff, but if not, then you just sort of get it on Game Pass and you can play it. Like, just get more people in there and get more people playing.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I've never been big on MMOs. 14 was like my first and only MMO that I ever played, and I played that a lot.
Yeah.
But even then, I think I only played it for a year, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm done.
Right. I haven't started Final Fantasy 14 for that very specific reason, because I know I would really love it. And I don't need another online multiplayer problem. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. I think the long and short of it is I don't think you do anything to those games because Fallout 76 is quietly successful. It's doing fairly well if you sort of dig into it, especially monetarily. It's doing really well. And ESO is just kind of, it seems like it's always been quietly very successful, and they just put out expansion after expansion, and they just kind of keep supporting that game, and it keeps doing really well with just a ton of people playing it.
I think 76's biggest issue was that it was an obvious money grab to me.
And like a really bare experience when it came out, where it's like, all right, where's all the stuff? Like the NPCs or the quests or content? It very much seemed like one of those things where it's like, God, you could have just put it in the oven for like another year and you probably could have come out with something really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as they keep their community happy, they'll probably be fine.
Yeah, if you want proof of what you can do with a solid but small community, let me just point over here in the direction of Elite Dangerous. Let me point over here in the direction of Warframe.
Or Dead by Daylight.
Dead by
Daylight is hugely successful on the back of a moderately sized but very passionate community that has a really good relationship with the development team.
It was in early access the exact same time that Friday the 13th was coming out, and hands in the air, I said, screw Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th is where it's at.
Yep.
And then legal issues.
And then enter from stage left, lawsuit.
Yeah, enter from stage left, lawsuit, and my wife playing Dead by Daylight. Which, make no mistake, was thanks to watching people stream it on Twitch. And all of a sudden, Dead by Daylight is one of my favorite games, period, of the recent time.
Yep. One of your games of the generation?
Easy one of my games of the generation.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a good question. But that's all the questions we have this week. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us at the right-hand side of the page, including the merchandise store for Moonpear's brand new, super, super hot, and overly optimistic t-shirt with a rainbow and some very promising words about your future.
I think mine is arriving at some point this week.
I got shipping confirmation yesterday.
Yeah, there we go. Nice. So you can go check that out at our merchandise store, along with a couple of other t-shirts over there. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get all that stuff. Get to the tier where you make me cry over some scary games. Game Club, we just announced our next game. We finished the Sexy Brutale. So we're going to play the hot new release Super Metroid, which is a game that Moon and I have literally never touched. And staying on brand, Musim has played about the first hour of. A couple times.
Which version of that are you guys playing?
I'm going to be playing the Switch version.
I'm going to see if I can steal a Switch so I can play the Switch version.
Yeah, it's on the Virtual Console over there. So we'll be playing Super Metroid because Moon and I love Metroidvanias, and we've played the Vania, and now we'll play the Metroid. Don't forget to listen to We Rogue Like It. That's still a clip. We're doing episode 100 next week, which is insane. It does not feel like that has been long enough. And we're recording season 3 of Critical Misses right now, which is off to a very startling start with a movie that I expected to really like, and I turned out I really loved it. So that'll go out to patrons here pretty soon. I think season 2 is about to start coming out. That's only 4 movies long. And if you want to get 2-month early access to that, patreon.com/E1M1. I think that's it.
We think.
So we'll see you all next week. I think. We do too much.
Yes,
we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Oh, God, let me stretch. Okay. Nymph, please regale me with your titles.
I am a lurker.
Mm-hmm.
I remember signs. Every Man's Sky. Gears of Wands. The Real Monster Was Boston. And Day 1, Mission 1.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
I Paid Once. Energy Meta Can Go to Hell. Dwarves by Flarelight. We Are Such Nerds, although I said it in a we're such nerds kind of way. Everything Is Going Well. All Hail the Gunship. Every Man's Sky. Gears of Wand.
I have I'm a Lurker, Gears of Wand, and Every Man's Sky. All 3 of those were kind of on all of our list. And I'm a Lurker is probably the weakest of the 3.
Yeah,
that one's fine, but I think the other 2 are stronger. I kind of like Gears of Wand a little bit more than Every Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Both are really solid.
And honestly, Gears of Wand is a reference that not many people are going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Including me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'd be okay with that one if you guys want to do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Gonna circle it. Let me know when you guys are ready. me.
I'm ready. This is you might veto. You might edit me from the ending. So that's
I'll just put like a 5-second long beep.
Yes.
I should be good.
All right, starting in.
The beep.
Right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 675 for September 28th, 2020. Gears of Wand.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I don't know what that is or the other thing that the title is.
Wingardium Leviosa is so stupid, and I love it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Is that a Harry Potter spell or
it's
what?
a Harry Potter spell mixed with the Gears of War character.
Yeah, Wingardium Leviosa from Harry Potter mixed with Dom from...
Oh. Screw you, Moon. You're a bad person.
All right, thanks everyone for watching, listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
And we can stop recording.